Hello everyone. Welcome to our series Thoughts on Education. Today we have a new guest, Mr. Sudhindra Baliga. Sir, can you please brief yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Sudhindra Baliga. By profession, I'm a pediatric dentist. I'm currently working as a Dean and Professor at Sharad Pawar Dental College and Hospital. This hospital is based at Savangi, which is again in Wardha district. The Wardha district is around 70 kilometers away from Nagpur, and it is said that it is the core of central India. So Nagpur comes in the center area of India. So we come under the area of something known as Vidarbha.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, I wanted to ask you my first question. That is, like, being the dean of your college, what is your philosophy of leadership? Like, how would you describe your leadership style?
I think leadership means, I think you have to be having a lot of dynamism in the current field in this field, and expecting a lot of turbulence in dentistry. I think we have to be a little bit dynamic in approach, and as much as possible, I think give the current competencies. That is the whole thing which we are looking into, giving competency-based education to students. So here the whole leadership of our dynamism is towards making sure that the students are competent enough to practice dentistry in this field. In the sense, my role of leadership is dynamic and student friendly.
Absolutely, sir. So, sir, in your experience, what can an inbound student gain from studying here in your institution? Like, we all know the education system in India and other foreign countries are structured very differently. So how any student who's studying at your college gets a different insight, other than different from the other colleges?
See, I think the basic outline which we follow is what has been going on in the country, like what the 306 odd dental colleges in the country are practicing, because we are governed by Dental Council of India. They have given a minimum criteria on which we have to base our curriculum on. So if at all I consider our organization, we are going above the minimum standards as set by the Dental Council of India. We are making sure that newer, as I told earlier, newer competencies, whether any subject or any branch of dentistry, the current decade, what it needs for the student to be developed, that is being taught to make sure that they are competent enough. And this competency is not just based on the Indian scenario, but at the level of international. You can say, when you talk about foreign universities, we are trying to make sure that we are at par with them, so that students don't find difficulty when they plan to go abroad.
So, sir, how does the curriculum of your institution ensure the best practice of industry? Like, how often?
See, as I told, I'm sorry.
Like, how often?
See, if you look at, we have a very, very different kind of a curriculum pattern which we follow. If you look at it, the way we studied were totally different. Now today we have something known as the must know, desire to know areas, nice to know areas. The syllabus is entirely, the curriculum is framed in such a way that the student knows what he will be getting developed into. If you ask right now, we are practicing what the Dental Council of India says, but simultaneously we are developing right now a competency-based curriculum which will determine what the student has to know and has to practice when he goes out from here. So this curriculum which we are developing right now will give a totally different approach for the students from other organizations, provided an autonomy is given to us to frame certain curriculum. That is what is required. Though we are following a parameter, but we have to be given a certain autonomy that you can do this, then it is more good. So I think if Dental Council of India is also developing a competency-based curriculum, hope that we merge and make sure that the curriculum is globally acclaimed. That is what is the whole objective.
That's really nice to hear, sir. So, sir, like during the COVID situation, how did your college deal with that scenario? Like, have you introduced any new programs for students, like online programs? Obviously, there's a lot of difference between online and offline education. So, have your college introduced any new programs, or are you planning to introduce any?
See, there are two sets of things which we have done during the COVID times. One, there are students who have to get into the clinical scenario after completing the basic outline of the preclinical as suggested by the current syllabus and curriculum. However, we made sure that the students are not hampered, their education is not hampered during this COVID scenario. We made an entire online program for case-based scenarios. We got the entire preclinical exercises recorded on the mannequins, and this because finally at the end it is not the didactic approach which was important. We wanted even the clinical exercises to be visualized to students as much as possible. Now the patient flow was very minimum. Though first year, second year, third year, our curriculum defines less of patient work. It is all the basic science subjects. So for the final year students, we made out an entire module in each of the subjects. Now, the specialty in my organization is we have a separate clinical skill lab that is other than the preclinical skill, wherein we have 6 dedicated mannequins which are divided into different subjects. Supposedly, he has to know extraction of tooth. It is learned by a model which, when you are injecting, it says you have injected at the right place. It gives a signal. So we are giving certain set of mannequins and certain devices wherein we have made sure the principles of extraction or cavity preparation or impressions, these are all recorded, and we have tided over the situation of giving them preclinical work. So when they came back, though the patients are less, now again they got back themselves to have an hands-on experience of all these practices on the skill lab. We did not stop patient work. We created a separate state-of-art isolation clinics that were 10 in number, which were completely following infection protocol. There was a doffing area, PPE worn by the students, the best possible protective wear was given. So we, in fact, from the month of June, July, we started having patients, and we made sure that our postgraduate did not have any dearth of patients. So today we can say that we have placed more than 200, 300 to 150 implants in this entire COVID scenario. And there was no, as such, dearth of clinical material. That is a plus point. Second, patient flow was good. Third, we were providing services. Fourth, we were able to give online teaching to students to make sure that when the patient comes in, they should be able to treat. So we made sure that we are technically sound and clinically efficient enough to provide good care for patients and provide adequate knowledge as well as hands-on experience to all our undergraduate students.
That's really, really different approach, sir. That's really nice to hear from you. Sir, like with competition so high, how do you guide your students to survive in such a competitive scenario? Like, how do you guide your students?
So, as I told you, now if a student walks into the dental, any department of his choice during his posting, his duty roster is given and it's split up in such a way that he is busy the moment he walks in till the time he gets out. We, in fact, during a regular pre-COVID scenario, we made sure that these are the basic number of work which he has to do beyond what the Dental Council of India guidelines say, because that was important. So what we did, we have something known as, if those things which he can perform, he does it. Those which he can assist, he assists. those which he can observe, he observes. So we have put out all such kind of a clinical scenarios for him, so that it should not be something like an undergraduate is devoid of certain procedure, or a postgraduate is devoid of any procedure. So we make sure that all the exercises, as much as possible, which are given in textbooks for them to work on, to see, or to assist, we make sure that we encompass. We have a 360-degree approach to make sure that all these activities are covered for them in that number of days which he is posted for. So when you look at all these competencies which we plan to give it them, whether in the form of performing, assistant, or observing, we try to make sure that they are, as I said in the earlier statement, they are globally competent. That is what we go with. That is a basic outline on which we work on.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, what is the rate of admission and what are the statistics of students from your college who are interested in higher studies?
Right now, if you ask me, more than 45% of the students get into post-graduation. There are more than 10 to 12 students who go into business administration. There are approximately, now the numbers are increasing. We have a lot of admissions, because immediately after undergraduation, sometimes getting into good organizations, good institutions abroad, because now they are pursuing a lot of short-term courses which are there, and globally, as I told you, with a lot of emphasis of research in the curriculum, which is our main core area, because we have started making sure that from the first year of BDS, they should be getting into research and inculcating a habit of writing research papers. So now we can always proudly say that 5 to 10% are getting admissions in universities globally, which is really helping them in building their career.
That's really nice, sir. Sir, any insights into how your institution could be more welcoming to students of different economic backgrounds and different cultures?
So this is something which is, I think it's a wonderful area which the government also should consider, because since this comes under the deemed to be university category, we do not have any such parameters of pertaining to that, we are welcome to any student coming in. The fee structure is the same. But however, for them, any category, they are welcome here. We have introduced scholarships, something known as NEEV, and we, irrespective of caste, creed, those who score good marks in that entrance examinations are given 25% off in their university fees. Itself says that we are open to any category. Anybody is welcome to join our organization. So next year we plan to implement, if required, for dedicated caste, where you can say that any socially, economically, or for reasons apart for which they need scholarships, if they score good marks, we would like to give more and more scholarship to such students also.
Okay, sir. Just one last question that I would like to ask you. Any piece of advice to all the students, not just of BDS, but any student all over our country? What would be your advice to them?
Success is not easy. Hard work matters. So without hard work, you cannot get success.
Absolutely, sir. That was really nice to know the insights of your college, sir. And thank you for giving us your valuable time.
Thank you. Thank you, Harshad.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.